I went a little bit crazy for spooky season. Look, there's no way I can pick a book of the month.
What do you mean you can't pick a book of the month?
It's a battle royale. It's a bloodbath. No, it's not happening. I will have to make categories. I have too many. There can't even be a tie.
You better go get a tie. I'm not accepting this if you don't go get a tie.
Just don't even start with me.
This is all a sham. He's not getting a tie. Get in the comments, make a situation, tell him how much this hurts you. I want a full-blown rebellion down there. This is bullshit.
Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Mitten, the purveyor of... I'm not even going to say it because you'll bleep me. That is my literary wingman, my little chull of happiness, Mr. Potty Mouth, who I'm about to take a bar of soap to. Little cheeky Leanosaur up against the wall.
You can't even say it.
I can't. It's too many words.
It is too many words.
I give up.
Might as well just drop it. I'm happy for the 4 titles anyway. My name is Jacob, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, man. Can you believe it's November? Can you believe we're wrapping up spooky season? Like, this is unbelievable.
Can you believe, like, around a year-ish ago, we were going to Dragonsteel? That was a year ago.
I know. And this year, we're going to the big Christopher Rocchio event.
I know. What a segue that is. Should we get into it?
We should get into it because I think what you finished ties right into the Rocchio-verse.
It does. I wrapped up Ashes of Man just right at the end of October. I squeezed it in. It was close to the end, but it happened. Ashes of Man, book 5 in the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. I'm trying to catch all the way up in time for the Sun Eater Gala, where we're all awaiting the big release of Shadows Upon Time, November 15th. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. We'll see. I'm close. We'll see what happens.
Have you
Ashes of Man, I have started. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm 10% in already, which is like lightning speed for me. It's so good.
Wait a minute, did you do Daughter of the Sword before?
I did do Daughter of the Sword.
So good, right?
It's so good. I didn't.
How happy are you? You did.
I didn't read Daughter of the Sword this month. We're not allowed to talk about this. This is
okay. All right. This is already going to be a marathon. All right. I'm sorry.
I know. Ashes of Man, which I did finish in October. I think might be my favorite of the series. The more I sit with it, the more that I like it. And I think I was talking with some people in Discord about it just today, and I kind of unlocked why I like it more than the other books. And it's, Hadrian Marlowe is this person that we're following his journey throughout this series. And a lot of these books, it's the same reason that you and I were talking about the first book, Empire of Silence. When you read it the first time, you go, that was good. I liked that.
Yeah.
You're not blown away. At least I wasn't. But it's a pretty good book.
Didn't blow my hair back, but I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah. But as the series goes on, you look back at Empire of Silence and go, I like that more now. In the context of what this series means, I like that more. I'm having that again, just with Hadrian Marlowe as a character, because I'm starting to find that Hadrian Marlowe is not necessarily somebody that I felt attached to or felt like, oh, this is a character that his voice is going to resonate with me for years to come, and I'm always going to remember these things about him. I wasn't quite feeling that until Ashes of Man, until this book.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's a new feature to who Hadrian Marlowe is, and that is that he has a bit of an emotional growth curve that I think is really common in the real world. You're a younger man, and you have ideas of what you want your life to be. And it may be career-oriented, it may be purpose-oriented, but it's selfish. It's about you. It's about what you want to be.
This is true. Yeah, sure.
And as you grow up and you meet people that you love and you learn more about the world that you live in, or in his case, the universe that he lives in, you start to understand that, yeah, no, maybe I just want the quiet life with the people that I love. Maybe I do want that. Maybe this adventure that I thought was what my life's purpose was going to be is not actually the meaning of life for me. And I feel like that's kind of the conclusion that Hadrian is arriving at as the series progresses. And it's a whole new context in Ashes of Man for me. That growth, that he's seeing. And that, I think that resonates to a lot of people in life. You probably, you know, you're young and dumb and you think the world is one way and you grow up and it's not. And that's something that I felt very connected to. And for that reason, I think it's my favorite of the series. Loved Ashes of Man. So good.
Wow. Are you saying book of the month? Is that your book of the month? Or should we finish up everything you read?
We'll have to go through everything else.
Because the next couple things you read, I read too.
You did. There's one that we both have the book of. Do we want to hold it up at the same time?
Should we count down?
Should we? This went terribly last time. Do you want to count it down?
I know. Let's try for a do-over.
3, 2, 1.
We did all right.
Yeah, we did okay. It's A Night in the Lonesome October by Roger Zelazny.
Yeah.
This was Janny's idea, right? To do this?
Oh, the amazing Janny Wirtz let us know about this book. And it is that amazing little treat a day, that advent calendar type of read. The table of contents is actually like a calendar of the month of October.
Right here.
And each chapter corresponds, there we go, corresponds with a day. And you read a little treat every day. And if you are into spooky season, if you are into spooky stories, horror stories, oh, so many Easter eggs, so many things going on as you go through the month and you realize that the game is afoot and you realize what these two sides are each angling to do and how they're pitted against each other. And just so much fun. We had a discussion group on Discord. Janny was hitting us up every day with her thoughts and making us realize how much we were missing.
Yeah, you were saying if you're a horror fan, there's going to be some Easter eggs in there for you. There's going to be some Easter eggs that I think some big horror fans are still going to miss. There were things that people were picking out in the Discords like, how did you figure that out? That's crazy.
It's not only horror fans, but it's history buffs.
Yes.
And just fans of story or detective stories or there's so much that Zelazny packs in there and weaves together and never loses the fun. There are some spine-tingling moments. You're not sure if some of your faves are going to make it out. The danger ramps up as this game starts really rolling on and you start recognizing some of your favorite classic monsters, say some monsters that you might not recognize right away, but then later on you do. And he never loses the fun of it. It's just a great good time. I can see why people read it every year.
I can totally see why people read it every year. Also, entirely told from the point of view of a dog, which is a plus for me. A very good boy told this story.
Snuff is the bestest of boys.
Snuff
he is
awesome.
The best
boy. He is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. This was not on my plan at all to read this until you said it was something that Janny said to do. And then it was just a little taste every day. And I was like, okay, that's got to happen.
And how happy are you that you did that?
Man, I'm so glad I did. It was so much fun.
It's like when you look in that Halloween bag and you pull out, that's my absolute fave. And you do that every day for the month of October as you go through this book. It's just a great treat every day. And it was so much fun floating ideas and things that we thought were going on that ended up not to be going on with each other. And it was just a great time.
But I'm still happy anyway that it's not what was actually going on, because that ending was awesome. The way that book wraps up is fantastic.
How he brings it all together, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Again, he never loses the fun.
No.
Never loses the fun.
Not once.
Great Halloween read. Now, the next one I have and you don't have because you lent me your copy.
Correct. But we did both read it.
This month, and that is The Invisible Parade by John Picasso and Lee Bardugo.
Yes.
And wow, man. And we also had the chance to sit down and talk to John Picasso for a good long time.
Yeah, I was about to say we did an interview with John Picasso last month as well. Please check that out. That I think is like one of the best interviews we've done. That was so much fun. And the link
so much to learn about his process and where how he became
that
an artist
had
just
is
it's
insane.
Unbelievable.
A
Safe
link
to
to
say one of the most awarded fantasy artists in the last decade or so.
Yes, must be. a link to The Invisible Parade will be in the description if you want to pick it up for yourself. It is on sale now, and you should. And you do a really good sell of it, Dad. Why don't you tell us what it's about?
Well, I mean, do you just want to throw some of your thoughts out? We'll both take a shot at it because we both did read it.
Sure.
And I know, look, I know how much you love this because I was going to set this out on my coffee table, but you said, no, you absolutely have to have it back.
That's for my coffee table. I bought it.
So yeah, I know you liked it a lot. Yeah.
The Invisible Parade is a lovely book that follows a young girl named Calla, who has experienced some loss in her life recently. Lost a dear family member, and it's taken a big toll on her. And it's the Day of the Dead where she lives. And you can tell throughout the beginnings of the book that her and her family are setting up for the festivities, and she's just not feeling in the mood. She's more feeling this despair and loss and this hole in her heart after she's lost somebody dear to her. But as she leans into the festivities and goes into the graveyard and travels through and sees some of the horsemen of the apocalypse and gets to know them and talk to them about what it means to grieve, and how about that process goes, and what it means to come out the other side of grief. It's just such a wonderful conclusion that book comes to, along with some of the prettiest art I've seen maybe ever. It's gorgeous.
It's just, look, it is one of those very, very special packages where the art and the letters come together to make something so special.
Yeah.
Something more. So it's bigger than the sum of its parts as you start going through this. And of course it is, because it's a collaborative work between John, who I think had the original story idea, and then Lee Bardugo, who came in to lend her abilities to tell it, and then of course John with all of his just jaw-dropping, stunning art, just page after page. And you can just open to any page and you will see like just how beautiful this is.
Yeah, pick one at random.
It just meant,
look at that.
Here's our girl Calla. And it just meant so much to me as I read this. And yes, absolutely, share this with some young people in your life if you have those to share them with, and you want them to have a great story. But also for yourself, I got so much from this book. Our young Calla, like Jacob said, is struggling to deal with this big loss in her life, and she's trying to get through it as fast as she can, and she's trying to move through it fast with her eyes down. And just the epiphany that it brought to me of if you live your life and you take the time to not just try to get through what life is throwing at you, you will discover and see some magic all about you in this amazing world that we all share together. And it just is such a reminder and such a lovely lesson and such a beautiful work where the letter and the pictures come together to just impact you in a way. And that's why I want it on my coffee table, because there are times in life when you need to remind yourself, whatever's going on, you're still given this amazing gift of a life. And no matter what part of it that you are in at the moment, it is an amazing gift. And slow down, look around a little bit, accept it for what it is with as much grace as you can in every moment that life will throw at you, tragedy and otherwise. And there are magical things to see. And it was just extremely meaningful for me. And I want that to be on my coffee table. So at least a couple times a week when I sit down and I look down at it and go, oh, I remember Calla's journey, and I remember what that meant to me. And I remember my amazing friend, John Picasso, who was part of putting this together. And it was just a very, very, very special experience. And you should all absolutely go on this journey as well. I think we both agree on that.
Completely agree. It feels like a book that I'll pick up someday later when I have experienced loss again, as we all do as life goes on, and read it again and probably have a good cry.
This is one of those that it's not a one-time read. This is something you revisit and you share. I think you summed it up so well when you finished it. Said, "Who do I hand this to? I want to read it. I want to read it to my fiance. I want to hand it to someone. It's immediate. This feeling of I want to share this."
At the end of the book, there is it's like 2 paragraphs. It's not very long. Like a note from John Picasso about what this story means to him, and a note from Lee Bardugo about what this story means to her, and how the two of them worked together and brought it into the world. And I remember reading that, and I don't want to spoil it because reading that really is part of the story, to read their experiences in connection to the Invisible Parade. And I remember reading that and feeling like this is something that really taps into just being human and being in this experience we call life. And it's something that you close and you immediately hand to somebody else and say, I want you to have this. I want you to read this and share this story with me. Yeah, it's totally an important book.
Completely agree. Okay, so those are your reads for the month. You've got a little, it's tough for you to pick a fave, I bet, out of this month.
It kind of is. It's as much as I loved A Night in the Lonesome October, I will say it is between Ashes of Men and the Invisible Parade.
Do I need a timer?
I'm going to go get a tie. No. I think in the similar way of why when I read The Gallant, it meant so much to me just because of where I was in life. That direction I was talking about of where Hadrian Marlowe is going and understanding that there are more things to life than your own personal desires and journeys, that I attach myself to that a lot. I think I'm going to have to go with Ashes of Man for my book of the month.
Yeah.
Just for that self-insert moment for me. How about you? Go through your giant stack.
I've got a massive stack here. And first of all, I just want to pull out, like, there's always some in between the cracks reads that I try and squeeze in. I got in another volume of One Piece this month. This is volume number 21 of Baroque Works, Alabasta. Oh my gosh, this was so much. This is just every month that I can squeeze one of these in. I just love it. This especially, I think this is my, wow, that's really tough to say because.
Immediately stopped yourself.
I mean, Chopper means so much to me, and I immediately went back to the Cherry Blossoms. But I think overall, this has a chance to be my fave story arc so far.
Go with your instinct. Say it.
Each and every one of our crew here, of our family here, gets such a moment to shine and such a moment to realize something about themselves and their found family that they're with, and taking lessons from each other and growing a little bit themselves and recognizing that growth in themselves. And hands down, the worst villain. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Oh, I hate me some Mr. Crocodile. No, he's the worst. He is the worst because he's this plan that he's got going on, and we're just now seeing there's more layers to the plan than we even thought. But it's horrible. It's hideous. It's not just brawn, but he's using these diabolical brains of his to come up with this Bond level plan of destruction for this area. And I hate him. I hate him. He's the worst villain so far. I want to keep reading just to see him go down. And I can't wait to see it, but it's so much fun. It's just, I really had a wonderful time with that. And then I had time to grab a couple comics. I got the first issue of DCKO, which is a big Dark Side story. Scott Snyder is writing this, and the art is by Javi Fernandez and Alejandro Sanchez. And this is a lot of fun. This sounds like it's just, all the heroes get to have a knockdown drag out. There's like a lot more of this than that. There's a lot of thought that, of course, I shouldn't be surprised with Scott Snyder writing it, but there's a lot going on, and I think this was a really great start, and it feels like this is going to have some pretty broad ramifications for the overall DC universe. So this was a really fun start. I'm looking forward to episode 2 coming up in November. And hey, for the first time, I'm picking up every issue of an ongoing Batman series because we just had a big relaunch. I think for the maybe the third time we got a Batman #1. Picked up Batman #2, and this is Matt Fraction on the writing duties, and art by Jimenez. Oh, this is really fun. We got our first introduction here of some Robin action with Matt Fraction at the helm of script writing, and I'm really digging this take of Batman. He's a little bit more emotionally mature and varied, and still a one-man wrecking crew, I think, when he needs to be, but there's a little bit of a different feel to him here, as far as understanding that he needs others, and I don't know, it's just a little bit of a different, it's not completely reinventing the wheel, but a little bit of a different take, and I'm really enjoying this, and that's why I had to add this ongoing Batman series to my box for the first time in a good while. I haven't been getting an ongoing Batman series, but he is my fave, so I had to do that. So those are just some quick in the cracks reads that I got this month.
Yeah, Batman by Matt Fraction sounds awesome. I might actually have to pick that up from you.
I would be happy to lend it to you. I think you would dig it. I really do. I like it a lot.
Show me the giant books. I'm ready.
You ready for the giant books? This is kind of misleading to start off, but I did read part 1 of Blackwater by Michael McDowell. Now, this is a bind-up. This has like all 6 parts of Blackwater, so I just got through part 1, so don't think I finished this entire chunker, but oh my gosh, I wanted to so bad. After you do part 1, okay, look, you know your dad is a Southern boy. You know.
Oh yeah, to the core.
I love my biscuits and gravy. I'm Southern boy through and through, and I got the best blast of home from this. This is Southern Gothic done so well. The sensibilities of family, the sensibilities of a small town, because I'm a small town Southern boy, and I recognized each and every bit of it. It was done to perfection. This is that story, little fictional town in Alabama, in between 2 rivers, and one of the upper class families, let's call it, one of the families that owns the mills in this area that, you know, kind of keeps the towns rolling. There's been a huge flood. These 2 rivers have crested and covered the entire little city here, and the story opens with one of the upper members of this family, and he's being rowed in a little boat through the city, and they're kind of at like the second story of the hotel, and the clock tower is peeking out of the water, and it's like this brackish, stinky water, and they're looking through, and it's just so beautifully written. And then they realize they see some movement in an upper story hotel window. And now this has been completely, everyone's left the town days ago. Like there's a complete pullout that happened days ago. No one should be here. And they row up to the second window and they find this young lady that's been living there. What have you had to drink? What have you had to eat? Where have you slept? What is possibly going on? They pulled her into the boat. They take her to the church where they're all staying as they fled the town as this flood happened. And then the person rowing the boat is sent back in to pick up her luggage. And the luggage isn't quite where she says it is. He has to go further into the room, and he realizes that, like, oh my gosh, the water lines are way up the walls here. This bed is just a sludge and slurry of mud and disgust. Where did she sleep? How does this happen? And then you start to realize as this story goes on and she insinuates herself into this family and she insinuates herself into this town as a teacher, that there is so much more to her than you might realize. There is, think about, way back when we would maybe have beliefs of spirits in nature. And she is something special from one of these rivers that has come up and joined this town. And she is not entirely human, and she's able to do things that are not normal whatsoever. And from where it goes from there, the family politics, the town politics, they're all so lovingly told and done in this amazing Southern Gothic lens. It's just done to perfection. This could absolutely end up, once I get past all 6 parts, I mean, this could make a faves list for me, like a fave series list. Like, it is just so well done. I just wanted to completely keep going because where they leave off from part 1 to 2, it's like, oh, how can you stop there? And I've already looked at the pages like, okay, how many pages is part 2? When can I squeeze that in? When can I get back to it? And part 2 is pretty lengthy. I think it's a couple hundred pages, maybe close to a couple hundred pages.
Yeah, part 1 does not look like a third of that book.
Yeah, part 2 is about the same. About the same.
Are there 3 parts or 4?
There's 6 parts.
Okay, that makes much more sense, because I was going to say that's not a third of the book.
But this, Michael McDowell, wrote the screenplay for Beetlejuice and Nightmare Before Christmas, and this is a talented guy, Southern boy through and through, and this is Southern Gothic told to perfection. The characters, there were moments I felt I was watching some kind of Tennessee Williams play that was directed by oh man, I'm blanking on his name, the director of Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice.
You're thinking of Tim Burton, but he did not direct.
Tim Burton.
He did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas.
Are you sure?
I am positive. It was his idea that Disney owned while he worked at Disney, but while he left, Disney developed it without him. So it was directed by somebody else.
Well, he directed Frankenweenie and Beetlejuice.
That he did.
And Batman and Edward Scissorhands. And if you imagine that type of aesthetic, that type of crazed look, it is this. Southern Gothic. It's a Tennessee Williams play directed by Tim Burton. I mean, it's so good.
I would like you
so good
to stop reading things that I must also read. Is that
you have to read this? That's
what I mean. Is now you read faster than I do, so you can't keep reading things that sound awesome and I have to pick up. I'll never get to them.
Okay, the next book I read, you also have to read.
Oh God. Okay.
But the good news is you're 10% into it already.
That is true. Give me the FOMO. I'm ready.
And it is Disquiet Gods. I read, look, there's no better sci-fi spooky season read than Disquiet Gods, because as you can see, once you get into Kingdoms of Death, once you get into Ashes of Man, you start to get some real threads of horror in this story. It's not just a space opera. It's not just sci-fi mixed with fantasy. Oh, we've got some serious threads of horror, cosmic horror and dread all the way interwoven through this story, and it just keeps going. It's right there in the title, Disquiet Gods. This is everything you want that penultimate book to be. It raises the stakes. It broadens the characters. Even like you were saying, this is some of the magic of Christopher Rocchio. As you were saying, Ashes of Man is your favorite because it spoke to you where you are in life right now, because where Hadrian got to in his journey. And we started this journey in Empire of Silence with Hadrian as an idealistic young man feeling like he can make a real mark on this galactic empire and maybe bring peace where there's been war for so many years, because he can breach and branch across these two cultures that don't understand each other, and his linguistic abilities could maybe bridge that and bring them together and bring peace, and he could leave so much ideological push for him to get out there and leave his mark and do some good. And we go from there, and then we start taking these steps, different phases of his life. And each phase of this character, Christopher Rocchio captures so well. So that thing that you're talking about is like, oh, this has to be in my book of the month because I kind of saw a little bit of me in there. I kind of connected to a little bit, right? Just as you were describing.
Yeah.
When we get to Disquiet Gods, I see a little bit of me. I see more than a little bit of me.
There's older Hadrian in this book.
I see a Hadrian Marlowe that I would recognize in the mirror if I was just looking in the mirror, dealing with so many questions. And Christopher is not that old of a man, but somehow he still brings all of the reality and all the gravitas and all of those things that an older character would have, and he does them so well. I see so much of myself. I see so much of my peers that he captures at this new section of this new point of life in Hadrian's journey, and he's doing it so well. So it broadens the characters in ways we haven't seen. It raises the stakes. Oh, does it raise the stakes in ways we haven't seen? It introduces some new characters that you may not have thought would be your favorites, and now they are going to be your favorites, right? And I think you know who I'm talking about here.
Exactly what you're talking about.
And you start to, as a crazed architect that Christopher Rocchio is, you start to maneuver your pieces on the game board to where they need to be and what they need to have in their pockets to bring about this climactic moment, this conclusion that is coming on November 15th in Shadows Upon Time. So when we hit the end of this book, and of course it's always a love letter to story like he always does here, by the end of this, you're starting to see echoes and reverberations and callbacks to Grendel and Beowulf and so many other things, but told in a completely more heart-wrenching and disgusting way. It's equal parts disgust and heartbreak that you will see when you get to the end of this. You'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. But he's just firing on all cylinders here. It's everything you want that penultimate book to be. And I think it may be my favorite of the series. Here's the thing. Even Kingdoms of Death, which is my favorite of the series so far.
Yes.
I like that second half more than that first half. Kind of like...
it's the Rocchio 1-2 punch. You get to the 50% and it's a whole new book. Right?
Or Demon in White. It's almost like kind of 3 books. It's broken into sections. Yeah. You get several different flavors. This is that, okay, I love the beginning of this almost as much as I love it's not like, oh, wow, now that I've got to this point, this roller coaster has crested the top and I'm screaming all the way down.
Yeah.
This one, it might be, because even Kingdoms of Death, I like that second half. I like that second half, and that's what makes it my favorite. The beginning of this, and like you say, you're 10% in, you can see what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. That's the same reason it kind of took me a long time to get through Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man, is like you have that 50% where you're in a very different genre and things are maybe moving slow and we've got some political intrigue. And you're chugging up that roller coaster hill. And then once you get to that 50%, you're crashing down. But I'm only 10% of the way through Disquiet Gods, and I feel like I'm already crashing down. Like it's a weird double-sided thing where I know we're going up. I know we're building somewhere, and then we're gonna crash down. But I'm just in for the ride from the beginning. It's a whole different section of this story that is just grabs you immediately.
Completely agree. So it's like, overall, this might be my fave because I'm, like you say, I'm in from jump, man. I am in from jump. Yeah. So I cannot wait for the final book to be in my hands on the 15th.
So excited. But until then,
very excited.
What else did you read?
Oh, we do at least one indie book a month here.
I know what this is. We can both hold this one up too.
We can both. You're not quite done though.
I'm not quite done, but we can both hold it up.
But you know what? For spooky season, I did 3. But we can both hold up the first one that I did, which is Cold Silver for Souls, ToriTalks. And what a great spooky season indie read this was.
Super cool. It is also in the description if you want to pick it up, and you should.
This is, look, you will think about, Weird West tale. We got necromancy. We got a Western. What else do I need, right? So pulpy, so great, I'm in. But what we get here is it, as always with ToriTalks, way more layered and way more expansive than that as far as emotionality goes and as far as character goes. This is told from a first-person perspective of Hunter, and what you're starting to realize is as this book goes along, this is as much a story as the world becomes unveiled to you and you start to realize Hunter's place in it and where she's been before and the baggage she's carrying with her from these places and these experiences and her relationships in these places that sometimes are tenuous, sometimes are found family through and through all the way to the core. And they are that because of the past and what she's gone through and what's happened to her in the past. And there's no better way to look at this past catching up with you story than Rip, who is her zombie familiar that follows her everywhere and does her bidding because she is a necromancer. But it always starts to be a little bit more than that. Yes, it's a zombie story. Yes, she's a necromancer. All those kind of things come with it, and they're a heck of a lot of fun. But as you read, you start to realize, oh my gosh, this is what's following her is her baggage in her past that she's carrying and dragging behind her. And there's a mystery interwoven here of where it came from and why and what it's costing her and what she's feeling about it and why she won't let it go. And all of these emotional character elements that Tori weaves into it that takes it above and beyond just being a heck of a fun Weird West necromancer story. And I just had so much fun with it. The mystery is not only unveiling the world that she's creating and Hunter's place in it, but unveiling layer upon layer of Hunter and where she's been and what this mystery is and why she feels so solid and fervently attached to where she's going and where she's been and why that is. It's just a great character journey from beginning to end, and I thought it was a heck of a lot of fun and emotionality off the charts, thematically off the chart, just the way Tori does every time I pick up a read from her.
I'm having a blast with her. I mean, I feel like November has only started and I'm simultaneously reading this and Disquiet Gods, and I can't put either one of them down. That should say a lot about this. This is great. I'm really enjoying Cold Silver for Souls.
Absolutely. And like I say, I picked up more than one indie read I also picked up because it's spooky season. Why not go way out there in left field and grab something like Toothsucker from Caden Love? Some cyberpunk tooth-eating vampires.
That just sounds
You talk
awesome.
about... Oh, he is a madman. You talk about crazy. This is... and that's... Look, when you will say cyberpunk tooth-eating vampires and you think, okay, that's about as wild of a concept as I've ever heard. And when you get about, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 pages, that's not even the weirdest concept that's in here.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, that's your starting point. And it gets stranger from there.
That's cool. Well done, Caden.
Absolutely. Well done, Caden. This is that cyberpunk world where we're dealing with capitalism has run amok. It's the ruling class, basically. So we've got different types of organizations, different types of businesses vying for ultimate control. Pharmaceutical versus entertainment, that type of situation. Who will leverage what they have to have the ultimate control and take the presidency of Capital City? And in and amongst this, you have one of the pharmaceutical companies that is conscripting or drafting these young people that they're calling imps, and they're giving them some updates, some wetware that turn them into these tooth-eating vampires, and then they're sending them out there for like some, a little bit of industrial espionage, let's say, or maybe even some assassination work if it gets a little bit hairy when they're out there. And this follows one of those imps, and as he's teaching one of the new imps that has just been drafted, and he's taken him under his wing, and they start to unravel what's really going on in this power struggle in this city, and what's being hidden, and what's being brought to light. And not only those organizations or those businesses that are fighting for control, but what lies underneath that, and how deep does it go, and how are our lovable imps going to be able to fight off this drive to feed on enamel? It's unrelenting in a way. It's weird in a way. You keep turning pages because you want these answers, and he does deliver them by the end, but also by the end, he leaves you with a lot of tantalizing questions. And if you think this sounds strange and weird and bizarre, like I say, this is just the starting place. Some of the characters you meet on this journey, some of the mysteries you start to unravel, it goes to some really weird places. And I will say, he does not hold back on the visceral, physical horror. He goes for it. These tooth-eating vampires are not... Well, they are. They are nice vampires that you can't help but root for, but at the same time, when it comes time to feed, man, you do not want to be anywhere near the zip code that they are in. They are brutal, and this book goes to some brutal places. And I had a fun time for spooky season doing a cyberpunk tooth-eating vampire story, and I did I did not see that coming.
That's awesome, man. Toothsucker will be available in the description as well, so be sure to pick that up from Kid and Love.
Before we go on with the third indie book I read, how about we thank some people?
Always people to thank.
These are our correspondents, our directors, our producers that make everything possible here. Let's thank each and every one of them. There are fine patrons at Patreon. Right down there, one little click if you're interested and want to find out about that, as well as all the social places we are if you want to hang out with us more, like Discord or all those other type of Twitter and Instagram and Tickety Talk and all those kind of places you can find us.
Tickety Talk? What the hell are you talking about?
Isn't that what the kids call it these days?
No. Thanks, everybody.
Just a quick break in the action to thank all of our correspondents, directors, and producers on Patreon. These people keep the lights on. They make decisions for us because we don't know what we're doing. We're not great at making the decisions around here. The decisions all the way from what I'm going to read next, what the book club of the month Patreon pick is going to be, but all the way up to video ideas and what we're going to do here on the channel coming up for you. If you're interested or you want to find out how you can be a part of this, right down there in the description box, click the Patreon link. It's got all the answers for you. And once again, thank you to all of these fine people that are helping us build the channel, our correspondents, directors, and producers. You ready for the third indie read I did?
I am. I even know what it is, and I'm still excited.
This is Mushroom Blues from Adrian M. Gibson. For spooky season, I wanted to do, as if cyberpunk tooth-eating vampires isn't far enough off the beaten path, I wanted to do some fungal noir, something really different that I hadn't ever kind of experienced before. So I wanted to pick up Mushroom Blues, and it was a fun ride. But it's not an easy book to read. This goes to some truly, truly dark places. Think about those places where mushrooms grow, those dank, damp, dark places. That's where this book is going to take you. This is a land where there's mushroom buildings, there's mushroom furniture, there's mushroom food, there's mushroom people. And this land is completely occupied and run and governed by a force after a large war. The Spore Wars are over, and the side that won is now kind of occupying this mushroom land, these mushroom people, and it is exactly what you would think would happen when a force comes in and occupies another area and another culture and another people. It is quite brutal. And it is unexpected where it takes you, and it is uncomfortable where it takes you. And at the same time, it's exactly what you would think, because if you think about a fungal noir, this is absolutely a very well-told noir detective story, to where we start with our main character here, Henrietta Hoffman, who has basically been banished to this land from some past mistakes, some pretty dark character-changing past mistakes she's made has led her to be basically banished into this area, and she is a police detective that catches a case from the first few pages, and Adrian does not hold back. It is a brutal case, as brutal as you can imagine, and this noir story that interweaves all the way through this fungal world takes you to all different types of corners of it. You will see all different types of fungal people in different types of corners as you start to unravel what's going on. And all of this said and done, he does a great job also of getting in there these little echoes, these little moments of, oh, I recognize that. Like the main general lording over this occupation, you might recognize from some of our war to end all wars from the past, some of our generals and leaders. There's echoes of our own world here, our own shortcomings of not being able to see people that may be a little bit different than us and give them the grace and the space to be people as well. You may start to recognize, oh, that's that song lyric of when they go into the nightclub is eerily familiar of this song that I know. There's just little echoes of this world that will sneak up on you. And in true fashion, It is a dark character journey. A noir story is always going to follow kind of a burnt-out, dark character journey of this detective. Henrietta Hoffman fills those shoes unbelievably. Sometimes it is hard to follow her. She's so broken. She's so affected from these past mistakes of hers. It's a tough journey to walk in her shoes. But by the end of it, there's I don't want to give too much away, but it's a journey worthwhile that you find out by the end of it. So, I mean, I would say all of my indie reads this month were all of these indie reads I had this month, all 3 of these indie reads
are blue.
They're all blue, but they're all also an amazing example of the amazing breadth and scope that the indie movement has out there. I mean, these are the kind of stories that they probably should be on the shelves of your favorite bookstore, but they're not because they probably wouldn't be recognized by those people that print those books because they're off the beaten path. They're truly different. They're going to take you to some places that you don't necessarily see on those shelves time after time after time after time on those choices. And it shows you the breadth and the difference in the scope of this indie movement as far as storytelling and daring and chances taken by these writers. And it was just so fun to do all 3 of these this month and see time and time again that pay off and that play out in the indie reads I had this month.
It's my favorite thing about indie books that I hear time and time again is that they're books that are not easily categorized and are therefore would be deemed quote unquote unmarketable. And yet through indie publishing, they find an audience anyway.
And that what an amazing movement, right? I mean, you could find your unusual, off the beaten path, crazy, high concept story that you didn't even know would impact you or hit you. It's out there. It's out there. It's such a cool thing.
You can pick up all 3 of those in the description, by the way.
Now, I got to say, for spooky reads, I love spooky season. I love horror. You know this.
I do.
This is my favorite spooky read of this October is Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought I remembered you saying you had an issue with this. So I'm interested to hear where this goes.
I had a little, I'm not saying I didn't have an issue with this, but I'm saying, look, as far as spooky reads go, I got to say this is my favorite because I would say this hands down is my favorite, but I've just read part 1, so I feel like that's not fair. So I'm going to go with, or I would say this is my favorite because there's so much horror in it, but there's also a lot of space opera and other things mixed in it. So just for pure spooky read, I'm going to go Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. Now, this is that French countryside during the Black Death, and we have a disgraced knight, we have a disgraced priest, and we have this young girl who is touched by these powers, and she's leading these 2 men on this mission that has been heavenly ordained. She doesn't quite understand it. The 2 men certainly don't understand it, and these 3 characters are moving across the French countryside during the Black Plague. So he does this amazing job of giving these demons agency and saying, look, there's no better time to end this war between heaven and hell because God appears to be missing. He appears to have shuffled off somewhere and has his eye off the ball. Maybe he's watching the next universe over. Who knows? Maybe he's just tired and taking a little bit of a well-deserved vacation. But for whatever reason, the angels are on their own up there. So, hey, maybe it's our time. So they start doing a couple of first salvos here. The first salvo is, let's maybe cause this hideous plague. We suffered nothing there. So maybe we'll take the next step and the next step. And in this book, it's gotten to the point where they're actually there on Earth after the Black Plague has wreaked its horrible thing across the landslide. And they're kind of reshaping the world in their image as our 3 protagonists move across the land. And beauty of this book is the disgusting, hellacious nature that Christopher Buehlman is able to bring to the French countryside. You can be in a small provincial French town, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of a painting by Hieronymus Bosch because the demons are there and they have taken over and they have pushed our shortcomings, our fears, our prejudices to the very brink of civilization and caused us to become something else, something other. And we're starting to side with the demons themselves as time goes by. And the people have been put through such a ringer, losing family member after family member from the plague itself. So they're looking for any direction and they're taking the wrong one. But the one beam of light is this young girl who has these two gentlemen following her across the countryside for whatever reason. Now, here's my problem with it. Here's my one problem with it. As we got towards the end, I was so attached. I was so all in on the journey of our three protagonists, our knight and our priest and our young girl here, our young heroine. But by the time they kind of got where they were going, and I don't want to give too much out there, by the time they got where they were going, there was no way for Christopher Buehlman to wrap up the story without bringing in some other POVs, and because they're not in every room that we have to be in to flesh out and finish and wrap up the story. So as we got to the end, I would say the last maybe 70 to 100 pages or so, we're starting to get POVs that I haven't been traveling with for this entire time. I'm not quite as invested in. Yes, I need to know that. I need to know what happened there. I need to know who these people are. I need to know what they're doing. I need to know the fallout from that. But I really want to be following one of our people that I've been following all along. So I thought as we got towards the end of this and he had to broaden the scope and he had to open up some other POVs to wrap up and tell his story, I thought it got a little bit fractured for me and my investment tended to wane a little bit towards the end because of that. But now every time he got back in the shoes of one of our main characters that I've been following, that of course evaporated and went away. But that was basically a little bit of the problem I had towards the end. But he does such an amazing job of capturing the historical element of this. He does that beautifully. He captures the insidious seeping in of hell itself onto the earthly plane. It's done so well. There are moments of terror in this as that happens, as they take over our earthly plane that I'm telling you, it'll live in my head forever. Like there are some scenes in here, it's like, oh, that's good. That is so creepy. I haven't seen that quite done that way before. And it just sticks with you. It just gets under your skin and sticks with you. So he does that super well. He does dialogue and art and an authorial voice so well. There are moments of levity. There's moments of banter between these three characters that cut the tension just perfectly when it needs to be cut. And that's why you're all in on these characters and their journey. And that's why it got a little fractured at me at the end when we lost them. So much he does so well here that I have to say it was my favorite spooky read of the month.
I notice you're creating a new category here so that you don't have to pick a book of the month and you can still give props to other books. I'm not going to let you do that. You still have to pick a book of the month.
Well, here's my problem. Here's why I'm creating categories, because I have one book left that I got. This was what I had planned for October.
Oh, and you had more time.
And I had a little bit more time, so I got one more book in under the wire. And that book was Jade War by Fonda Lee.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So you can see why I'm starting to create other categories.
No, I think it's unfair.
Because I gotta make space. Look, this was a wow read for me. This blew my hair back. I had to go to the tomorrow I'm getting a haircut, and it's because I read this book. Because I've not been able to get it to do what I wanted to do ever since I closed the cover of this book. It blew my hair back that hard. It was like a tsunami of story coming my way. It was like, whoa! It was unbelievable. The layers of this, the characters of this, the pressures of this. It's so beautifully done. It's that family drama that we can all attach ourselves to. What does our family expect of us? Where do we fit with our family? How comfortable are we fitting there? How hard will we work to fit somewhere else maybe, or get out of those roles that our family squeezes us into, even if maybe we don't want to be there, right? How much of ourselves will we give up? Are we willing to give up to maybe play a different role, to maybe play a role that we're happier with, even though they expect something else of us? Put on top of that, this is a crime family, a crime syndicate family that has tentacles that run all across the country and controls socioeconomic and political and everything that's going on. So think about that pressure added onto it as well. This could be life or death decisions. It's not just who do I sit next to during the family gathering and, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to listen to them go on the whole dinner. No, it's life or death literally with some of these decisions going on. Not only from us and our family, but the country at large. And then we're getting into broader, in this second book of the trilogy, we're getting into broader socioeconomic ideals of this magical jade that gives this crime family its power. These powers that have allowed them to carve out this country and have it have its own agency when it was before occupied and caught up in skirmishes. They've become these great Jade warriors, and they were able to sway this and have a country of their own. So they're deeply steeped in history and culture and folklore. But now these countries around them are starting to open up and want some of that magic jade. Now there's a drug trade that allows not only these genetically families that have a predisposition to handle this kind of power and these kind of jade from this country. Now these countries on the outside, we got a little bit of a juice here. We've got a little bit of a drug that would allow us to use the jade as well. So think of now we got a full-on arms race. Not only this country, but what country are these crime families going to align themselves with on the outside that would allow them to amass more power, that would allow them to amass more wealth, that would allow them to amass more pressure as these things start to pile up on? So we have socioeconomic arms races, not only in this country, but on the outside, family drama, crime family drama. There's so many layers going on, and the pressure mounts and the pressure mounts and the pressure mounts, and the situations grow and they grow. And then by the second half of this book, we have one moment, one dramatic, huge moment after another that has all been earned and all been built up to by these pressures on these characters. And every one of these moments plays out by the characters themselves, the characters growing, the characters being pushed upon by this type of pressure. And they have to get to a place where they make a decision for themselves and for others maybe they're not comfortable with, maybe they would never imagine themselves making. And there's where some of the drama comes from, but they have to do it. And you as a reader reading it going, yeah, they do. I totally see why they would make that call and do that, even though every bit of your fiber of your being would be screaming, don't do that. You absolutely see why they would, because of the pressures they're dealing under. So all of these huge dramatic moments come from character buildup and these character journeys that you're enjoying along with them. Just every bit of this book worked for me. Every bit of it. It's maybe, haven't read book 3 yet. This may be one of the best, or maybe the best urban fantasy I've ever read. It's such a different type of setting. It brings in such different, tangible, dramatic, modern types of storytellings and dramas to play out that you can recognize and attach yourself to, that sometimes you don't necessarily see in speculative fiction because we're dealing with kind of off the beaten path. But in this, because it's urban and because it has a bit more of a modern flair, it just so works for me. I'm just so able to attach myself to it and go through these character journeys. Absolute wow read for me. I mean, just like, I loved Jade City. This was better.
So is it your book of the month?
Here's the thing.
No, pick one. You have to pick one.
It was spooky season. This was a great spooky read.
Uh-huh.
This Invisible Parade was something I want on my coffee table because it taught me something about myself and the life I want to lead, even when I get in my darker moments. This might be my favorite of a favorite series all time. This is the start of something that could be an absolute favorite going forward, but I've only read part 1, but part 1 is just knocked down gorgeous. I mean, how are you possibly going to... This is the Octagon of Book of the Month. How are you possibly going to pick?
You built
like, there's
the TBR.
no way to pick one.
You did this. Now you have to pick.
There's no way to pick.
You have to pick.
There's no way to pick.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm just going to abstain from picking.
No. I refuse, sir.
You refuse?
I refuse. You must pick.
All right. If can I pick categories?
Fine, you can pick categories. You get 2 categories.
No, I gotta have like 4.
No, that's way too many.
Best amalgamation of art and picture that'll make you feel different about your life.
That is the most specific category I've ever heard.
Best spooky season read.
That's better.
Best of a series read.
Okay.
So far, until November 15th. And just best. I gotta say that if I had to pick one, I would say Jade War is my pick of the month.
Okay, then that's the one.
But I think the other 3 have to be on there too.
Sure, the other 3 get honorable mentions. How about that?
But this was like this knocked my socks off. This blew my hair back. This was amazing. How about you? How hard was it for all of you to pick a book of the month? Let us know. Was it the Octagon for you? Was it a full bloodbath? Was it a knockdown drag out? Let us know, like it was for me. This was probably the hardest month. This was the hardest month. I couldn't narrow it down like below 4.
And I think the longest. We've been going for a long time. There's a lot of books we covered.
There's a lot of books. Spooky season was amazing.
Yeah.
So let us know. I hope you had the hardest time because I hope it was filled with 5-star reads. Hit us up in comments. Let us know how your month was. We're going to answer every comment. That's why we're here. Hit that thumbs up button. That helps us meet new people. Every new person we meet that's new here, that's a whole new interpretation on these stories. That makes us all richer and wiser for welcoming them in, and that's what we're all about. And if you haven't hit that subscription button, hey, hit that subscription button when you join this group. The people that love to hang out here and on Discord and other places and talk about art and story and what it means to us and how it changes us and how it changes how we see the world and the people we share the world with. That is big magic. That is huge. That's going to give you a tingle when you join that group all the way down to your toes. And I'm sure my literary wingman's going to agree with me. You know, you need a juice box and a nap.
Could I?
Yeah.
I'll go right now.
Yeah, I'm good. You know what? It's like kindergarten. I'm going to lay out that beach towel and have you lay on the floor with a juice box and a couple saltines, and you're going to take a little nappy nap.
That sounds awesome. And I'm not even kidding.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you're still here, you're book people, and in our book, that makes you the best people. Thanks so much for joining us here on Talking Story.